Good morning to all of you. It's good to have you here. This is R.N. Bhaskar from BKBB, an acronym for Bhaskar Ki Business Baatein. This is a channel that brings to you policy analysis, an occasional business story, an occasional conversation. But at 8:15 in the morning, right now, we do news behind the news. We pick up a few titles which we think are important and analyze them. And my co-anchors today are Katya. Welcome, Katya. And Anurag. Welcome, Anurag. Good to have both of you here. And the three titles that we're going to discuss is global headwinds in trade and commerce have made heavy industries and mineral companies demand subsidies from the respective governments. The second one is how CNG has begun to trounce EV. Sorry, the other way around. How EVs have begun to trounce CNG. And the third story is markets are expected to climb. Really? We'll find out. And let's take the first story first. It could be Trump's tariffs. It could be the global recession. Even the World Bank and IMF expect trade to grow slower than it was in last year. But all of a sudden, German companies, heavy industries, and a very major South African headquartered multinational metals and minerals mining company have started demanding protection and subsidies. The most interesting case is that of the mining company, which is South Africa based. And this company, Sibanye-Stillwater, is headquartered in Africa. It has branches all over. It has mining operations all over, including USA, France, Finland, Australia. Not a very large company though, $38 million. But they are one of the largest producers of platinum, palladium, rhodium, and even gold. One would have thought with these four precious metals, the turnover should have been larger. But anyway, that's what it is. Now, the company has been crying and saying, no, we want protection. There must be a global level playing field. Clearly, China's forays in the global market and increasing market share, the declining US market share, the declining EU market share have rattled many companies. And that could be one of the reasons why they want subsidies. EU is a bit scared. Once you decide to give subsidies, it's a slippery slope. And you could go down further and further. And other industries will also start demanding subsidies. And subsidies make companies and industries quite uncompetitive. What will happen, I don't know, but the crying can be heard now. And that takes me to the second story, where also there's a kind of competition, but a different kind. Anurag will talk about it.
Good morning. The headline that you see on your screen captures a silent but profound transformation in country's auto sector. CNG, once a niche, now powers over 1 in 5 new passenger vehicles sold in June 2025, from 18.2% a year ago. Petrol's dominance has slipped below 50% for 5 straight months, while diesel is now at a distant third. The economics is very clear. Despite a higher upfront cost, that is about 75,000 to a lakh rupees, more than petrol variants, CNG's running cost is just 2 rupees per kilometer, half or even less than petrol or diesel. Moreover, infrastructure has kept pace, with CNG stations surging from around 750 in 2014 to now nearly 8,000. States like Uttar Pradesh, Gujarat, and Madhya Pradesh lead this expansion. If we talk about another pocket-friendly alternative to ICE vehicles, hybrid passenger vehicles, though still have a small slice, about 2 to 3% of new cars are still on a fast track. Sales are projected to grow at nearly 30% annually through 2030, driven by stricter emission norms, rising fuel prices, and government incentives. Brands like Maruti Suzuki, Toyota, and Honda are localizing hybrid tech and are the only brands offering entry level hybrid models. Yet, consumer acceptance is still in its early days, with hybrids often seen as a bridge between the traditional engine and the full electrics. Electric vehicles, meanwhile, are quietly doubling their shares. EVs accounted for 5% of new passenger vehicle sales last month, up from 2% a year ago. Improved model variety and expanding charging infrastructure are fueling this momentum. But is it enough though? The market is no longer about the early adopters. Mainstream buyers are now taking the electric plunge as well. And we also hope that hydrogen powered vehicles not only sit on OEM's 10-year plan drawing board, but also hit the Indian roads. What do you think, sir? What's your take on EVs and the hydrogen vehicles?
Well, it's very interesting and it's a good story. It's a very good story. And you can see the way the market is shifting. More and more people, at least the auto rickshaw front, are going for EVs. In two wheelers, also, they're going for EVs. But CNG predominates. CNG, there are more pumps available, it's faster, it's more convenient, and the costs are low. The real costing of EV is not yet clear because the battery cost is huge. Whether they'll get transformed into lower costs, EV is a more silent vehicle, practically zero emissions. It's quite possible that EVs make it popular, but even before EVs become popular, there's a dark horse there, and that's hydrogen. Will it come in? Some trains have already become hydrogen powered. Some trucks at the experimental stage are already hydrogen powered. It has yet to percolate to passenger vehicles and to two wheelers. Let's see what happens. But very interesting times for the automobile sector. Thanks, Anurag. Great story and great numbers. And now we're going to talk about another story which talks about a kind of a boom in the market. Katya, could we have you?
So we can never predict how market moves, but what is being predicted right now is the quarterly earnings of the quarter that's going to come. That's going to be the first quarter of FY26, and actually analysts have a lot of hopes pinned on it. Actually, they say according to Motilal Oswal report, they're expecting its universe to post around an overall 10% earnings growth, which is very interesting, but especially because FY25 we've seen earnings growth only in the lower single digits, and it has been abysmal for a long time now. They expect Q1 to be the crossover quarter for a good set of earnings for FY26. So, and they have and then they have pinned a lot of hopes. A lot of this earnings growth from the pool is supposed to contribute from oil and gas sector, particularly from oil marketing companies. And they say a lot of the other sectors are supposed to see good double digit growth are cap goods, cement, chemicals, electronic manufacturing services, logistics, healthcare, real estate, retail, telecom, and at least telecom. Of course, it is more a crossover from losses to profits than large profits, but profits are expected. So, and it very interestingly doesn't see any sector putting negative PAT growth in FY26. If you see in the pool of sectors that I've read, also the IT sector is conspicuously absent, and which is actually has been a mover for many years. But interestingly, I've seen that quarterly earnings are also not moving the markets are in their own setting their own traditional zone, which is become impervious to earnings, impervious to wars, commodity price hikes, etc., etc. So, what do you think, sir? You think it's going to be a great quarter in FY26, especially if these trade rules are going to be a game changer? I don't think that has been taken into consideration. So,
Katya, it's a very interesting analysis, and Motilal Oswal is normally bang on.
right.
I have a hunch that he may have jumped the gun this time. We've not taken Trump's tariffs into account, point one.
Yes.
And two, I can't see any pickup in consumer demand. If these two factors play the role that they are expected to play, you could actually see companies not performing as well as Motilal Oswal expects. But there's a second problem. Many companies may show higher results because still a week or 10 days ago, the markets are rising. And they wanted to show better results to raise more money from the stock markets.
Right.
Now with the markets climbing down, one doesn't know. Let's see. But interesting finding, interesting markets. Thanks,
Yes.
Katya. And let's take the first question that comes in, and that is, what is the government incentive policy to support automobile and consumers? The government has been flip-flopping. It tries to first ban a certain kind of vehicle, then it tries to encourage a certain kind of vehicle, then it puts deadlines, it revises it. The government has a PLI scheme for certain kinds of vehicles, especially electronic ones, electric vehicles. Uh, these are incentives, but if they are going to be based on imports, the incentives won't go very far. And there's a second problem with automobiles. If consumer demand goes down, as we discussed yesterday, you could have a poorer offtake of passenger vehicles and trucks, but a stable I would say, offtake of two-wheelers. So let's see what the government does. At the moment, it's fingers crossed. Okay, let's take the second question. Uh, the same old kind of question. Is this the time to buy shares? Katya would like to respond to that.
So again, we are not supposed to give that answer even if you knew it, and the truth is very few experts know the real answer to the question. But what I can say is, it is a very surprising time for markets, and markets is not reacting to cues like as if it's become immune to bad news, and it is also absorbing good news with a lot of with a pinch of salt. So markets have become much difficult to predict right now, and that is what even top experts are saying. So like it says, what do you do, what do you what do you do a mosquito which has become immune to everything? So so it's the good idea is to plan long term and hold on and
And be
hope things change
diversified. And be
and
diversified
diversify.
as far as possible.
Right.
Thanks,
Long term.
Katya. There's another question that's coming in, and that is, how will the big beautiful bill of USA affect India? While this is not one of the news items that we had taken up, but let's talk about this. The big beautiful bill is largely a US bill, but there are two caveats. One, it's cutting down all benefits for the poorer classes. That's going to affect Americans. But there's a second one which talks about immigration, strengthening immigration laws, even revoking the citizenship of certain Americans. Will that affect Indians? If it does, we have a problem because many Indians are working in America and they're sending money back home. Plus, every Indian who's thrown out of America will also find that he has to get a job in India. And the employment scene is not not very attractive in India. So as a result, the big beautiful bill may affect India if it touches immigration, if it touches cancellation of citizenship. One doesn't know which way the wind will blow. And that, in a way, takes me to the end of today's session. Thank you very much for being with us. And yes, a reminder, please click the subscribe button. If you're not a subscriber already, please click the like button. We want it desperately. It helps the algorithms tremendously. But more important than that, please tell all your friends about us. We want audiences to grow. We are growing, but we want to grow faster, and your help is required. Thank you once again. Have a wonderful day ahead. May your day be good, big, and beautiful.